Detroit, the Motor City. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. The NFL season has hit high gear, and off we go in Week 11 on EA Sports. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. So they'll come up first and 10 now from the 33. Now it's the Boise State alum, Jay Ajayi. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. They'll run it now out of the gun. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That burst good for 20 and a first down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it could be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
Here we go. Back 54. 10.
From the 50, Stafford. It's complete to Golden Tate. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue. Now a toss play. It's Ajayi. And a 5-yard gain as he's down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
On second down, here's Stafford. Roberts with it over the middle. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 13 yards on his first catch. It's a first down as well.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Hurry!
They'll run for the first time with Johnson. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be third down.
So if I'm an offensive coordinator, there's one thing that I know for sure. This is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL against the run. So when I look at my playlist, I'm probably thinking about throwing it.
we go.
8th play of this opening drive coming up. This is 3rd down.
And we're good. Tag 53. Here we go.
Back to throw. Stafford. And too much on that one. It's out of the back of the end zone. Incomplete.
But they took the shot, didn't get it, and there's definitely a difference here because they had a chance to get 7, maybe 8 if they pushed it. Instead, they'll likely settle for 3.
Yeah, opening drive, holding him to 3. Psychologically, maybe a win for the defense. And Prater's kick is on the money. It's good. And the Lions are going to take a 3-0 lead. So an opening drive field goal maybe doesn't whip this crowd into a frenzy, but I think that they will take the early lead.
There's no doubt about it. They will always take the early lead, and maybe that celebration comes later if they play well and they can break things open. But right now, this is all about letting the offense just get settled in.
And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line.
Lucky 56. Now let's go. Blue landing.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Seeing that play and understanding just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have had a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it? And what a really nice gain right there on first down for them. Brings up a nice second down for them.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. They'll run it now out of the gun. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
I know what you're thinking out there. I know a lot of you are thinking, take a shot downfield. It's a great spot for it. I'd say maybe later in the game, definitely in the second half. But right now, I think they were just trying to get some momentum built. Get a first down, pick it up, and keep moving.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. Spinning past him. And he's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Detroit!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. So he loses 3 yards there. Now 3rd down.
Detroit!
They're going to look to throw. He'll buy some time right. And this is going to be incomplete.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
So on 4th down, here's Chris Jones to punt it away. Back deep is the former Seahawk, Golden Tate. And Detroit getting set to go now. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs. So they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Here we
From the 9, here's 2nd and 9.
Tag 50.
Here's Stafford now on 2nd down. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Gordon. And they'll bring him down here right around the 17-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. That burst good for 20 and a 1st down. If you start assessing what went wrong last week, Charles, in their loss, had nothing to do with the ground game. They ran it well.
And you also have to say to yourself as a team, don't go away from what worked. That's not the reason the game was lost. Running the football over time, when you do it consistently, usually translates into wins.
And they're hoping to do it consistently here. On 1st and 10, Stafford. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle. Going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that. They might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Here's Stafford. Under pressure, and he'll go down. They'll sack him on what ought to be the final play of this 1st quarter. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Here with Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, as the Lions are in possession of the football here to begin quarter number 2. They do, however, have a tough 3rd and long coming up.
All right, here we go.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. And the movement there coming from the middle of the line.
And you understand he wants to get off the ball quickly, but the ball's right in front of him. He has to watch it move first.
And the penalty, it helps a little, but they'll still have to navigate a 3rd and 9 now. From the gun, here's Stafford. Over the middle, complete. That's Gordon. And they got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. And they're able to convert on 3rd with a solid gain of 23. A couple of 1st downs have them to the 40 now on 1st and 10. Here's Ajayi. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
Following the penalty, it's 1st and 5, and you got to think offensively, all kinds of options. They'll toss it to Ajayi. And he'll be taken down at the 34. And just a yard on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Sometimes you're aligned perfectly and the play comes to you, and sometimes you got to cover some ground to go make the play, as we just saw there.
We saw a great example of perseverance right there on that play.
Got to be careful. They might want to throw one over his head as this game progresses.
To throw on 2nd down is Stafford. And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. Jalen Smith coming hard on the blitz. He dumps him for a loss of 8. After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation. A shotgun snap for Stafford. It's caught. Jones. And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to take this one down to about the 23-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Looking to throw on second down. Stafford escaping the pressure right. And complete to the tight end Walker, right side. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. His first catch of the game, good for 11 and a first down. This is Ajayi. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
Wow, that play got shut down in a hurry.
As soon as the snap came, you could see defensively they were just closing in. That was going nowhere.
Yeah, you count on your offensive line to give you a little bit of space, a little bit of time so you can make a move. There was none there for him.
To throw on second down. Stafford eluding the pressure right. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up third down. The Lions on third down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This is going to be 3rd and 13.
Hey. We got three. Three down. Switch. Stay 50. Tighten up.
Out of the gun, Stafford. Flushed out right. And probably the wise decision there. No one open. He just throws it away. And that keeps the field goal on the table as it's 4th down.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow him to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let him get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up 4th. Well, that will go down as a 15-play drive, and it results in 3 points. So some disappointment?
It's funny. We had our conference before the game with the offensive coordinator, and what did he tell us? I just want every drive to end in a kick, right? An extra point, a punt, or a field goal. Well, in this case, I think it is a little bit of a disappointment because it did end in a kick, but that type of a drive should end in the end zone.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Line of scrimmage, again the 25, 2nd and 10.
Detroit!
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. Flush to his right. That's into the hands of Gallup over the middle. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A very nice pickup of 33 yards. So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Back to throw now on 1st down. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. Give him 7 on the play, and it'll be a 2nd down. Able to get 7 on that 1st down pass play. 2nd and 3. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. We'll come back to Ford Field after this. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's got room. And he'll go down at the 28. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
Partner, if you want more carries, I think we saw how you get them. Showed that he's got the fresh legs, and he picked up the first down on that run. Don't just ask for them. Show them that you're supposed to get the football.
A first opportunity in the red zone for the Cowboys. They have a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
Now, that was not a bad scramble there on first down. He didn't force it, nor did he throw it away. He was able to take off, and now he made it a very manageable 2nd and short.
And now the Lions going to stop us momentarily as they call a timeout. As the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half.
Detroit! Detroit!
They come up in a 2 tight end look, and he will take it in for a Cowboy score. A great play there with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Cowboys are now just an extra point away from moving out in front. Extra point up and good by Bailey. And that will give them the lead here as we get on towards halftime. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This will be taken short. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Now the Lions offense, they get ready to head back out there. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Ball on the 30 as they come up 2nd and 10. On 2nd and 10, Stafford. Escaping the pressure right. Going deep for Walker. He's got him in. Complete. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. DeMarcus Lawrence in on the tackle. The Lions need to move. They're hustling to the line now. To throw is Stafford. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play, as we'll get a timeout. As the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the first half. After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation. Operating from the gun, Stafford had some room to work and avoids the contact by sliding. And now a timeout called by the Cowboys defense, as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. And Prater's kick is on the money. It's good. And they jump back in front here. It's 9-7. Now the drive ends in just 3, but they'll take it. Looks like they'll head to the locker room, barring something unfortunate, in front on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they may not be jumping up and down and celebrating because they have the lead, but still, Any little momentum in a game like this is important to a team, and they'll feel real good about going in and regrouping, knowing that they are out in front.
Here's the Dallas offense now, heading back out onto the field. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play.
Here we go.
But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
This is Mixon, and able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. Here's a 2nd and 2 now from the 33.
Party, party.
Room here to run. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. Well, that came a little abruptly here. Still working on my apple up in the booth. Hang on here. Let me spit this out. And we can get to the third quarter now. The Lions in the lead, and they're going to get the football first as well as the second half is underway. Out come the Cowboys now as they'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half two, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall, I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up. And we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. Sliding out of the pocket. And some room to run. The ball comes out. And this is scooped up by the Lions. And they came out of the locker trailing. Not a good way to start this second half with their first drive.
Can't imagine that the discussion at halftime encompassed this at all. In fact, I'm sure they talked about, okay, kind of wipe the slate clean, start the second half, and let's go out and play the way we know that we can. That's not a great example of it.
They didn't envision that. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll be taken down at the 33, a pickup of about 4.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
They stay on the ground. Again, it's Ajayi. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. 2 yards the gain there, and now they're left with a third and about 4 for a first.
Let's go now, let's go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
So they'll turn to the kicker again. He's been a busy man thus far. This will be from 49 yards out. And Prater's kick is on the money. It's good. And that will push the lead up to 12-7. So making 4 out of 4 now in the field goal department, and he's able to extend their lead.
When drives are bogged down, he's been automatic out there. So nice to have a kicker you can count on to put points on the board.
That's fielded in the end zone. And now here come the Cowboys. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though? And they only gave up the field goal, and they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive. A little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown. But they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think the coach would be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield, punch in the end zone without turning it over.
A really good pickup of 28 yards.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
On first down, he'll drop to throw. Steps away to his left. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Jason McCourty.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. Stafford now to throw. Buying time to his left. Now he'll go. Oh, wide open. Complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. And that one results in 35 yards. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Now it's Ajayi. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down. So nothing there that time, and maybe you need to look to the O-line. They weren't able to create any space.
No, they weren't, and you know as well as I do, as many offensive line coaches we've ever met, I think that'll be addressed loudly when those guys get to the sideline.
And they're usually loud and big. Now it's Stafford. And his guys will set up shop at midfield at the 50-yard line.
Oh, timing is everything on a route like this. He tried to drive that football into a tight spot. And if you're a little early or a little late, chances are there's going to be someone there. And sure enough, this one's going the other way.
Good starting position for the Cowboys here as they come up 1st and 10.
Watch it now, Barney, Barney.
They'll run it now out of the gun. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
That goes down as a loss against his rushing stats. But really, should he have to absorb that one? He had no chance on that play before they overwhelmed him.
Pretty much on top of him before he could take his first step. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. They'll look to throw. And that'll be incomplete. Well, not to get too overcritical there because he knows what he's doing, but his shoulders looked a little off kilter there when he threw that.
I don't think you're being overly critical there. You're just analyzing it, and he gets those shoulders right. That pass will go from incomplete to complete.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. They'll drop to throw. And he's able to hook up with Michael Gallup. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Well, they go with a slant that time, 15 yards and a first down. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Being chased out left. Oh, now he bowls him over. 11 more yards that go around, a first down as well.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. He'll drop to throw, eluding the pressure right. Throw right side, taken in by Gallup. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. He was out there waving his arms, and when you got a quarterback out of the pocket looking for any help, I guess waving the arms is helpful.
It certainly is because you got to get his attention because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space, and he found the right spot for the completion.
Looking left side, he's got it, complete. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
They'll look to throw here. Flushed out right. He may try and run for, and he will score. Touchdown, Cowboys. Their mobile quarterback, his 19th touchdown now on the season. And the Cowboys are in for 6. And now Jason Garrett electing for his guys to try for 2.
Here we go now.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Forced out to his left. And he'll get into the end zone to push the lead up to a field goal. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This will be taken very short. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
They'll begin the drive with a J. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
So now they have to contend with 2nd and 13 after the first down run goes backwards. Stafford. Walker with a grab, left side. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for 3rd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs. That right there, a good sign for a team that's had trouble converting 3rd down so far this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the NFL, but they come through there.
Yeah, and I bet if we put our guy Marvin on the case and say, Marvin, tell us where they rank on 3rd and what, right? I bet they're in the top 5 in the league on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or more, because that's how you end up not converting. Just too much yardage to pick up on 3rd down.
And there is nowhere for him to cut back as he's taken down in the backfield.
I know they've got to be careful not to go to the well too often, but it's a fine line, isn't it? Because sometimes if you've got success, you want to just keep pounding away.
But no success there. They rallied quickly on the defensive end. On 2nd down, here's Stafford. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. Picked off at the 22. And his guys will take over at the 25-yard line. Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used the calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, they're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it. And that's where he is right now. He's just locked in a really bad way.
And they'll go on the ground. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. So after the loss of 2, here's 2nd and 12 from the 23.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
He'll look to throw. Rolling to his left. Now he's going to let it go. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. And they finally get him, but not before he reaches the 33-yard line.
In our pregame meeting, all they talked about was keeping him hemmed in and wanting him to make his throws from the pocket because they knew he was pretty dangerous if he got outside and he just showed it right there. Pretty good arm, too.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30.
Here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
They go play action here on 1st down. Able to shake him off. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Sean Lee able to get in and run him down for what will be a loss of 15 yards. Well, this one from about 2 counties over after the sack. They come up on a 2nd and very long.
Set. Green 39. Green 39. All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Flush to his right. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. In a play like that, with how far he had to go to make that sack, shows how athletic defensive ends have become in the NFL.
And not just athletic, this is coached in a big way. Run to the football at all times. How about him never giving up on it and pursuing all the way across the field?
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Dancing to his left. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. So he was past the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
And as they say, that's a no-no. Got to be able to understand where you are on the field and not cross the line before throwing the ball downfield.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. So the Lions offense ready to go back out onto the field. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. Tackle there by Leighton Vander Esch.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
Gets it to Gordon. And able to get it across the 20 before they get to it. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
Stafford now, 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he finds some space past the 25 to the 27. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on 1st down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
Hey, go here. Hey, 22.
To throw on 2nd down is Stafford. Escaping the pressure right. And he's just going to get rid of this thing. To no one here. He throws it away. And now it's 3rd. Charles, I think back to your earlier statement about the visitors being the underdogs needing to win that turnover battle. And this defense, they forced 2 turnovers so far. A big reason why they lead this game.
Yeah, and I know defenses always talk about getting turnovers in bunches, getting those takeaways. 2's not a bunch, but it's plenty in this game, exactly the formula they need. And I got to tell you, partner, I like it when you think back to something I said. It actually comes true. It's actually right.
It happens more often than you might think. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Stafford to Jones, enough for a Lion 1st down. So 2 first downs, and that moves the ball to the 42 now, 1st and 10. They run with Ajayi. He'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A big run there, 29 yards and a 1st.
Another carry for their leader, and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
Right back to him on first down. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Here's Stafford now on second down. He hits Riddick underneath. 6 yards on the pickup, and they're going to have a third down.
Heady on that one, huh? Getting out of bounds before the 2-minute warning. They get an extra timeout, extra opportunity to move the ball downfield. Very smart football.
This a big play for both sides. What will we see here? 3rd and 4. Now Stafford. Drops it off to Ajayi. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. And Prater's kick is on the money. It's good. And we are all tied here in the final stages. So yet another field goal to end a drive. That has been a very common theme. He's now hit 5 of them in this game.
Yeah, Brandon, as an offense, you hate that you've had to call on your kicker so often. But you have to love the fact that time and time again, he's come through.
Now the Cowboys offense heads back onto the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Now he'll let it go deep left side. And that's caught inside the 35. And all the way down to the 29. A big play here for Dallas. 46 yards. So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. They're going to look to throw. Steps away to his left. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be second down. And now the Lions going to stop us momentarily as they call a timeout, as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play.
Watch it now, Barney.
And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. And we're going to get another timeout called by the Lions as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in the 4th. The stop for no gain brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20. Now a handoff looking right. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game. The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 15. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to lose those yards. They take him down at the 26. He lost a big chunk, 6 yards there, and it leads to 4th down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Now the timeout will be called, so they're in field goal range with 3 seconds left. So it all comes down to the foot of Dan Bailey. With 3 seconds to go, this for the win. And this one is right through. And it'll be a good time in Big D tonight. The Cowboys have won it. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So for the Cowboys, they continue to put themselves in position for a first-round bye.
So what you want? Every day I struggle with it. Only God could tell me slipping. I'm infinitely big through the genesis. Dead presidents, drop a gem on them. On earth, these the last days. Throw your get money, quiet storm. Have it stars. For the cream, renegade. For the money, only green is the. I'm a player on the late night tips. So these see the prototype. Fingertips, reservoir dog. To the skull, ignorant. Can I live? Still film it, kiss to death, forever take your neck. Three boys in the Cadillac. Grave digger, kiss to death.
Hey boys, coming out of yesterday's practice, we all know it wasn't good enough.
What's up?